Greetings, listeners, and welcome to The Spiritual Experience, a show where we share stories of life, love, and redemption for all of humanity on Earth. So sit back and enjoy. Try to identify with the speakers and not compare. Don't forget to subscribe on all podcast platforms. I'm your host, Jay Lewis, and here we go. All right, everybody. Welcome back. Spiritual Experience. Just came out of the episode. My boy. Yeah, we call him Johnny Marine or Johnny Vet. I don't know. I haven't saved in my phone as Johnny Marine, but we call him Johnny Vet. Stand-up guy. You know, I can't say enough about how much admiration I have for our the people who are in the military, service members, all of that shit. Everybody, man. It's like, I'm not one of these people like, oh my God, those are baby killers. Like, whatever kind of hippie shit there is. Those guys, they're like, you know, if you ever get to know any of them on a real basis, you know, they're real people, man. And, you know, they're doing very special things on this earth. Maybe I don't always agree with who they're doing it for or why they're doing it, but they're out there doing it, man. And it's for reasons that we don't know and whatever. And some of it's bullshit. Some of it's not. Hopefully, you know, I think this world is like kind of really evolving outside of, you know, the need for all of that stuff. That's why I think, like, you know, the government and everybody, the news, they're all like clamoring. You know, they're all clamoring for attention because people are a little bit at a time are starting to really wake up. Like, hey, man, you know, this is not the way to be. Everybody's like, you know, this is not, to hate each other all the time. For what? Because I hate you, you hate me. I'm American, I'm this, I'm that. Like, bro, come on, man. Are you kidding me? They say, like, a lot of times that, you know, astronauts or whatever, they come back from, you know, going into space and they look down on the earth and they're like, Jesus, man, what the hell are we doing? What the hell are we fighting for? What the hell are we crying for? Like, what is this? What is this all about? So what's up with this? You know? Yeah, it's crazy, but that's the deal. You know what I'm saying? That's the deal. This is where we're at. That people, they can't get out of their own way. So now it's like all this other shit. You know, but yeah, I don't know. Who knows? Maybe the aliens are coming. Hopefully they show up soon. Maybe they're already here. I still think Elon is a fucking alien. And who else? There's a lot of people who are on that spectrum. You have all these diagnoses and whatever. Asperger's. Who's I talking to? We were going to the Yankee game yesterday. Me, Furchie, Anthony, and Mikey Dogs. See if we get those guys on here. Anthony already been on here, but yeah, we were talking about, like, you know, people who have like schizophrenia and all that kind of, you know, the mental, like real mental illness, like severe mental illness, where they're seeing and hearing shit that's not there, and not just like, hey, these are my voices talking to me that have me crippled with fear and anxiety. I'm using the air quotes, like. Like, oh my God, I have anxiety. Like, that's like a regular, normal thing. Is to have like anxiety. You know, it's just normal part of life, man. Normal part of life. So yeah, we were talking about that, and there's like this theory. There's a couple of theories, things that I've been thinking about, or things that maybe I said already, or I don't. You know, I don't really see a psychiatrist at the moment. I told you guys I saw one for a couple of days or whatever. Tried to tell me I was bipolar. I didn't believe him. I went and got a second opinion to save my life. That's why I don't have to take medication And this is not me telling you not to take medication. This is me saying this is my story and this is my opinion based on my story. Yeah, so I don't take medication. And my brain, unless I go inside somebody else's head, I can't imagine whose wheels turn more than other wheels. You know, everybody thinks, there's a lot of people who believe that their wheels are the only ones that turn, or that, oh, no, you don't understand. I have anxiety. You know, I have, whatever, ADD or ADHD. You know, my favorite is BPD. That's my fucking favorite one. But all these diagnoses that, whatever, man. I say the same thing all the time. Bro, they're not doing a brain scan. All they're doing is going by your symptoms. And they get the kids younger and younger and younger. And they say, okay, well, how do you feel? I feel like crawling out of my skin. Oh, my God. What happens when there's a test coming, or when there's not a test coming, or when the bus is coming? I get very nervous, and I get fidgety, and I get this and that, right? So right away, they're not like, oh, why don't we try some meditation? What are you eating? Are you exercising? In what ways are you challenging yourself? All these other things that are outside of that, they don't want to, they just want to make you stupid. They want to make you compliant. Anyway, so point is, we're driving up and we're talking about, and I said it I said it as something that I heard, that, people who, because Ant was talking about, he had like a cousin or something, or a nephew, or what? No, it was a cousin. It can't be a nephew. He only has a niece. Anyway, he's got a cousin or whatever that like has like severe autism or something, and he can't really communicate or whatever the story is, but apparently this freaking guy can hear one song, hear it once, go on like a musical instrument and freaking play it. And there's millions of people that could do that kind of stuff, but they just can't communicate the same way that you and I communicate. And in my mind, maybe they communicate with each other in some other way that we don't know. So the theory is that people who are like schizophrenic and who are autistic in those ways, they're more evolved than the rest of us. And people are like, oh, that sounds crazy. I'm like, really? Does it? Because how fucking good are we doing? How good are we doing? We're focusing on, people spend their lives, including me, on the wrong days. They spend or how I used to be, but not for a while. I don't know. Sorry, I'm babbling. But yeah, people spend their lives focused on all the wrong shit, all the separatism shit and all the whatever, right? Like I said, all the lines in the sand, and the astronauts like, dude, there should be, we're all one person, whatever. Like, no borders, like all that kind of stuff. And so the rest of us who are allegedly smart, intellectually, some, if you want to claim that, I don't know how. But they don't want to, they're missing the whole show. Whereas maybe somebody who's like mentally handicapped, I'm not going to say the R word because it's a slur, and I don't use that word anymore to describe somebody. I will use it to describe something that's really good, like, bro, those fucking fries are retarded. It's incredible. But not a person. So, yeah. So somebody who has that kind of, that they can just enjoy the parts of their life that they enjoy. And they can't even communicate that to you sometimes, But they're enjoying all of the right things. Some of them. I don't know all of them. But somebody's going to write some fucking email telling me, oh, but, they're suffering, they're this, they're that. And I'm like, shut up. You don't know. Nobody knows what's inside anybody else's head. I told you when I told that story about my sister when she was in the hospital and she was dying and, she was whatever. Her brain was there, but her body wasn't moving. Bro, she could hear us, straight up. She couldn't communicate. So imagine that. Like, to me, that's like prison. Like being able to, having all this ego, right? And being able to think and everything, and then not being able to communicate or move. Having lived this one life, and then now you get all of that taken away from you, and you're like, hey, you know, you can't even, now you wish that you've sat in the field with the fucking butterflies and the dandelions and what, you know, those things where you make a wish and then, you know, you blow that stuff. You wish you spent your life doing that instead of being like, Obama's going to take away our guns. Or all this other shit, you know, that you wrap yourself in self. Wrapping yourself in self. Extreme selfishness, you know. So anyway, so yeah, we were talking about that. And, you know, of course I said that and they think I'm crazy. I'm like, yeah, but I also believe in aliens, Anunnaki. I believe in that stuff, you know. I believe in all of that. I believe in all those civilizations that were here and then they had the meteor that came and crashed or whatever. I forgot the name of the period that it was. You know, that, you know, the pyramids were built and all this other shit. You know, these guys, they were like, these ancient civilizations were far smarter than us. So what? They didn't have fucking Gucci belts and rap music. Actually, no, I gotta take that back. Rap music is like probably, I don't know. I gotta say, it's a huge contribution to mankind. It really is, you know. And I remember when people saying, "Oh, it's gonna be a fad." Like, dude, imagine it's just like, if the aliens were watching, like, dude, look at all these little ants. You know, they're doing all this stuff, making the wheel, making the stock market, making fucking Bitcoin. You know, building skyscrapers, concrete. Oh my God, look, they can grow corn. And then in the Bronx, man, they come up with rap music. And that is one of the things that actually helps unite people. And then what happens, right? Then the powers that be use that, like, oh, but we'll give you all this money and you'll do this and that, but you gotta talk all this crazy shit. And the more outlandish and crazy you are, the more money you'll make. And then it becomes about self-preservation. Not even self-preservation. I shouldn't say that because, maybe self-preservation, right? Because they're not, you know, rich people who are super wealthy start rapping like, what's that guy, Little Dicky? I mean, he's famous, but he ain't famous like fucking Tekashi was famous, right? And he raps way better than Tekashi, but he's not from the ghetto. You know, he's a white dude with, he looks like Shaggy from freaking Scooby-Doo. What's the other guy? The guy that I like. What's the kid that's out there now that has the Nail Tech song? Oh my God. Anyway, he just dropped an album. It's pretty good. Whatever. If I look at my phone, I'll tell you who the freaking kid is. Because I listened to that Nail Tech song, and I gotta say that the Drake fuck, man, look at this. See, again with the what do you call it, the Pfizer shot, Jack Harlow, sorry, that's his name. Anyway, Jack Harlow, that Nail Tech song is incredible. And he's got a song with Drake on his album. And Drake is like, bro, that kid's just getting better and better. Anyway, so going back to the thing, it's like, you know, it's like this. And yes, I am a conspiracy theorist because some of those theories are fucking real. Behold the Pale Horse. Go read that book. Go read it. Anyway, so yeah, so they diagnose, you know. So as long as the people with the mental evolution, mental, they even have you call them like deficiencies, if that's such a word. I don't even know if it's a real word to describe mental deficiencies, whatever. Mentally handicapped like it's a bad fucking thing. Yeah, man, so what do? They just medicate everybody like that, and then we can't never really, they don't let the rest of us learn from them. A lot of them, as long as they're not a danger to themselves or anybody else, right? That's the whole thing. They're just not, you know, not all of them. And, you know, the mental health crisis is serious in this country, you know, but the answer is not always just like, okay, oh, you have anxiety, take this. You have BPD, take this. You have ADHD, take this. Like, bro, how about you just a human being and you have to learn coping skills and coping mechanisms? You know, anyway, so I was talking about that, you know, because I believe in that. I believe they are more evolved than us. You know, they can see and hear things that we cannot. And when the end of days comes, however it comes, whenever it comes, bro, maybe they have the ticket. Because a lot of them, the ones that are super, they're like, you know, when you see all of these, and who knows what everybody shows us, but when you see all these videos of like people with like Down syndrome, you know, nobody, they're never fucking angry, you know, they're never out of their mind. They're like loving, gentle, accomplished, brilliant people, you know. And the same thing with, you know, people who, you know, I know plenty of people because I'm in recovery. I know a lot about mental illness because I'm in recovery. I don't need to have it to know it, but I know, well, I can start just having people on and everybody, okay, give me your RX. Tell me what medication you're on when you're getting on the show. Almost everybody, bro. You know, because alcohol and drug addiction is a symptom of the real sickness, you know. And a lot of times it's people they're attempting to regulate, you know, who they are because society doesn't let them assimilate the way that they want to assimilate or the way that they can, or maybe a way that's not, they haven't learned how to be productive, you know. Look at Zuckerberg, bro. He found a way. Elon, same thing. He found a way. There's so many geniuses, you know. And they're giving, you know, Facebook, you know, whatever, say what you want, but it, you know, you can use that platform for however you want to use it. Same thing, hopefully, you know, with Twitter, even though I'm out of the Twitter puts, but, you know, you can use that stuff for however you want. It's about you. You can't blame the mechanism. It's about you. You know, my Facebook feed is like, you know, I try to stay away from negativity, like in general, more than just like, if it's like, you know, obviously there's things you can't avoid, conversations, because how are you going to learn, you know, without talking about the negative stuff? You got to try to see everything as a whole picture. But yeah, so we were talking about that. And then like, you know, I started thinking about, I was listening to Chris DiStefano, who's like, whatever. He's a little self-deprecating, and I think it's a little too much, you know. I mean, he's a funny guy. He's a comedian, and he's good, you know. But, like, it's too much self-deprecation. Like, that stuff is fucking out of style already, bro. You know, that's basically, it's all look at me is what that is. When somebody does all that self-deprecating stuff, like, oh, my God, look at me. You don't look at how bad I feel about myself, so that way you can feel bad about me. And then maybe I'll get the attention that I need. It doesn't even matter if you like me or not, but maybe I'll get that attention if I have, oh, you don't understand. I have anxiety. My anxiety, I have the, like, dude. So anyway, so he's talking with the great and powerful man behind the cape, Mr. Joe Rogan. Anyway, so they're having a conversation. They're talking about, and this is something that it was illuminated to me. And I thought about it, and I was like, wow, I was like, there's a grain of truth in there. Where they're talking about, like, people who have, like, anxiety, and then they perpetuate it by saying, oh, my God, I have this anxiety. And they got to let everybody know that they have this anxiety. When it's really, like I said, with the self-deprecating humor and, like what do they call it? It's like false humility. You know, when people make these posts and all this other shit or whatever, it's actually, you know, narcissism. And I said that in a meeting today because I chaired the 5th step meeting, Greenwood, 20th Street, 7th Avenue, Thursday, 3 o'clock. Come see your boy. Anyway, step 5 was today where, you know, after you make an inventory, you got to admit to God, to yourself, and to another human being the exact nature of your wrongs. And it's really about letting down these barriers that are between all of us, you know. And how do we do that? How do we let down these barriers, you know? Yeah, like how do we do that in a very constructive way and all this other stuff when the truth is that, you know, like I said, going back to the self-deprecating shit is really about narcissism. Like, please look at me. Oh my God, look at me. I have this and I have that. Please look at me, because you need that attention. So I identified with that. I did. And it was really powerful. Where's my fucking book? Hang on. Let me pull this thing up. Because this was really good, actually. And it was so rewarding. The problem is I wish I was more prepared for all of my shows. And in my mind, I'm like, oh, maybe I'll make a list and I'll talk about this. Do I really want to talk about this fucking shooting? I mean, do I really need to talk about that? Like, what is there to talk about? The only thing that I could say about that, and people are going to get offended, is the fact that I believe that, where is this thing? I believe that, there's a certain group of people. I'm not going to say who they are because I don't know who they are. But they're out there, and they, hold on, because I'm taking the mic off so I could walk around. There we go. There are people who secretly could not wait to find out what race the shooter was. They were hoping he was white. And there was more white people hoping he was white if they're going to take... Oh, man, that's my thing. Sorry. Shut up. There was more white people hoping that he was white than hoping that some of those kids survived. And there's that. And maybe nobody's going to say that. Maybe nobody don't want to say that. But I know that to be fucking true. Because they're all like the virtue signaling. That's what it is. The virtue signalings people that I cannot fucking stand. That, yeah, they're part of the plan. They got to make everything about race. It's got to be about black and white. And then let me guess, the NRA shit is coming, right? That's the next thing. Like, yeah, NRA. When are they going to take all the guns away? Like, bro, when are they going to, when are they going to fucking, what is this? Here we go. When are they going to pay attention to what some of these fucking kids are doing? This guy allegedly, he was posting about this shit and he was doing that or whatever. Like, it's always like in hindsight, oh, I always knew he was crazy. Yeah. You knew he was crazy? How did you know he was crazy? Did you bully him? Did you pick on him? Or did he make some posts about some shit and then you ignored it, or you bullied him for it, or you didn't alert the authorities, or the authorities maybe don't have the fucking authority to do anything, which is crazy in this social media world. Like, yo, motherfucker, they snitching on themselves. People are telling on themselves, and then people don't believe it, and then look what happens, right? This is how but here's the thing, right? Here's the other thing. This is where it gets a little bit hairy, right? They will use, and now I'm going on this other tangent, and I'm going to screw the microphone back into the stand so I could have a seat. Because if I start walking around with this thing, the headphones are not, they're not, what do you call it? They're not long enough for me to not push those buttons again on accident. Well, all right, so this is going to stay still. Okay, yeah, so here's the thing, right? You got the FBI or I shouldn't say the FBI. I'm sorry. Amanda, I love you. I'm sorry. But you got the fucking feds, bro, building RICO cases on black rappers by using their lyrics, right? Who's up in the joint now? We got Casanova took a bid, right? Who's in there? Young Thug, right? Who I never really liked him. No. He had a couple of features that were good, but the lifestyle, he was the first one that set it off with the fucking lifestyle. Like, he was the first one, I guess. Yeah, look, maybe he was the first Asperger's rapper or whatever, or the first handicapped rapper, if they want to use that word. But obviously it wasn't a handicap. He made millions. Hang on. G0, the purple one. Yes, it's the best one. Gatorade Zero, the purple one. The grape one is the fucking best one. Anyway, so feds are there, right? What are they doing? They're building RICO cases on all these rappers. And they're like, we're going to use these lyrics and we're going to put you in jail. Whether or not we connect these dots or not, or whomever, whatever, I don't know, right? Bail is revoked for Gunner. Him, I'm sorry. I don't know who he is. I apologize. But Young Thug, I know who he is. And I know Gunner is somebody that everybody loves, right? These guys from Atlanta. Apparently they're gang or whatever, YSL. I don't know, right? I don't know. So they build a RICO case against these guys. Meanwhile, there's this maniac in Texas with guns posting crazy shit. Goes, bro, this motherfucker shot, I think, his own mother. It was his mother or his grandmother. He shot one of them. And then he goes to the school and he starts plugging the kids, right? So mind you, what I'm saying is this. With the hypocrisy, right? The lack of humility. Where, like I said, the virtue signaling and all the other shit. If there was really about, if the government really wanted to help you and was about that life, what would they be doing? They would be tracking guys like him who are posting things online talking about, oh, I'm going to do A, B, C, X, Y, Z. I'm going to hurt these people. I'm going to shoot these people. And they're going to be running up on them instead of fucking, you know, rappers. Right? That's what they're doing. They're doing that. You know, if the government really cared, if the people who are on top really cared, like, I don't even know how people watch like CNN, what's the other one? MSNBC, Fox News. Bro, it's all propaganda. It's bullshit. How are they letting Americans die? Like cities are crumbling, you know? They don't give people resources. You know what I'm saying? They just fucking don't. They send billions of dollars, bro. I would not send $1 overseas until we have our shit together. Not one, especially when I get to know these other military guys that I do know very fucking well, you know, that I know when they go over there, they're like, bro, can you imagine how these people feel after we spend all this money in Iraq and Afghanistan and we still got fucking places like Little Haiti down in Miami, which is fucking wild, or the South. How about just the South Bronx, bro? How about fucking Brownsville? Do you think it's the people? Is that what you think? You think the South Side of Chicago? You think it's the people? You think East LA? You think it's the people? It's not the people, man. It's the culture because there's no opportunities there. And it's going to take generations to turn those things around. And it's going to start with some motherfucking money. It's going to start with some shmoney, bro. That's where it's going to start. It's going to start with some money. You know, it's like, what, you've never been to a middle-class black neighborhood? No? Are you crazy? What do you think, they're high crime? You think a middle-class or an upper-class Hispanic neighborhood, what do you think, they don't exist? Bro, are you crazy? You think they're high crime? Are you crazy? No. So it has nothing to do with like, oh, those people, they live down there, they're fucking animals. Like, no, dude. They don't have any opportunities, and they have different opportunities than others. You know? And that's just the truth. And I'm sorry if that fucking bothers you, you know? I'm sorry that the schools in Park Slope are better than the schools in fucking Far Rockaway. For no reason other than like, what, higher tax dollars? Those are New York City public schools, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like everybody's paying city taxes. So what does that mean? You send the best school teachers to the best neighborhoods? Is that what you're saying? You know, you spend the best resources. Like, I don't think the taxes get distributed by neighborhood, by who's paying for the taxes. Like, bro, the fire department still puts out fires in East New York as they do in Brooklyn Heights, which apparently used to be a fucking ghetto. I didn't know until Mikey Dogs told me yesterday. So anyway, now I'm getting on my soapbox, right? I'm getting on my freaking soapbox. This guy went into school and shot all these fucking kids, man. That guy. Okay? That guy. You know, there's nothing we can say. It's sad. The sad part is I'm not freaking surprised. The sad part is I'm not surprised. The surprising part for me is the silence from all of these wokies, because the wokey whites, they wanted him to be white. That's what they wanted. They wanted him to be white. And he wasn't. And that's why it's whatever. What they should do. And shout out the New York Post. I put their front page. And the New York Post is like basically is like a ragtag newspaper in New York. It's actually famous for being like that. But anyway, they put the picture of all these little kids who got killed on the front page. And you gotta respect them for that, You have to. You have to respect them for that. It's very, it's classy. I wish, even though they would never do something like this, because people, in my mind, I'm like, all right, dude, you have to really, like it says in the big book, like, that, the answer to a headache is not bang yourself in the head with a hammer, even though some people would do that just so they don't have to feel the pain, right? And I understand, because I get like that, bro. I get a stomach ache or I get a headache. Dude, I will do whatever it takes, minus take a drink or drug for that pain to go away. Even if that means taking fucking ZQL and going out. Yeah, bro, I will do it all. I'm the worst person to be sick around. If I'm sick, you don't want to be around me. My girl, she gets all the credit in the world because she is everything. She's 10 times tougher than me with like 1/10 of the mouth, because she doesn't have the need to be self-important or whatever. Me, I just have this chatterbox brain that doesn't shut up. And I love sharing all that stuff with you guys because it actually helps me, and then unbeknownst to me, it actually helps you. But really, it's like I do it for myself. Either way. Right? What would really help, or maybe move the conversation along, right? Imagine if they showed like a photo of the unthinkable, right? Do I really need to say it? The unthinkable of what the scene looked like when it was done. And I'm sure there's pictures of that everywhere. Like, I'm sure some deep dark web or whatever, some crazy shit, it's on there. That's what should be, I don't know if it should be on the news, but is that what it's going to take for people to wake up about how we respond proactively to this kind of stuff? Like proactively. Like somebody, it's different when somebody has no murmurs and there was no internet, and old school shooters just went and just started letting it fly. Right? Now they have this ego that they want to be infamous. This kid is going to be fucking infamous, right? Didn't they kill him or something? I don't even know. Thank God they killed him. I think he died. I didn't even want to finish reading the fucking story. Because then, if he was white, right, they would have these other things where they start pinning one against the other. Okay, the police come. This guy's a shooter. He's white. Somehow he gets arrested. He's black or brown. Somehow he ends up dead. And they go one at a time. And they paint that narrative that it looks really fucking bad. Not that they're all getting handled at the same place at the same time or whatever. And there's so many variables involved that we don't know. But, the people who want to tell you that story to keep you separated, keep us separated from ourselves, that's the story that they fucking tell you. That's the story that they tell you. So it's how do we get around that? How do we bypass that system? Yeah, how do we do that? So I was reading today in step 5. Okay. Okay. I'm going to read some of this shit because it was really powerful. I'm not going to read it all. I'll read some of it, and I'll get to the part where I was like, oh, this is the thing that really got me good. Okay. And it'd be nice if the rest of us lived like this, right? So this is my contribution to how, how we should, one of the ways that we can all get along, how I think we should be. All right, this is my vote. Sorry, I'm not sorry. And if this is like breaking anonymity or whatever tradition that is, go call your sponsor and go cry in your soup. All right, step 5, admit it to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. All of AA's 12 steps ask us to go contrary to our natural desires. They all deflate our egos. Natural desire is ego. Narcissism. I am what's important. I am all I'm thinking about, right? Now, specifically, people who have an alcohol and drug problem, this is how our brain operates. Even if it's not that I think that I'm better than you, it's I think that I'm other than you. That's what it is. Narcissism isn't only like, it's self-importance. I'm so self-important that I'm anxious. That's how narcissistic some people are. That's where I got into it. But anyway, so I'll continue on. When it comes to ego deflation, few steps are harder to take than 5. But scarcely any step is more necessary to long-term sobriety and peace of mind than this one. AA experience has taught us we cannot live alone with our pressing problems and the character defects which cause or aggravate them. How powerful is that statement? We cannot live alone with our pressing problems and the character defects which cause and aggravate them. Right? So our problems, we have character defects that cause I'm going to read the same word 100 times. That's a very powerful statement. We cannot live alone with that. That's why I have this show, so that you guys know you're not alone. I said that, there's a difference between telling people what I think, which is my opinion, and telling people my thoughts, which are actually my fucking thoughts. So what I'm thinking is all ego, right? My thoughts are my actual beliefs or whatever. But you guys understand what I'm saying. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to continue on. If we have swept the searchlight of step 4 back and forth over our careers, and it has revealed in stark relief those experiences we'd rather not remember. It means going back over your life with a fine-tooth comb, as fine as you can make it, right? To see, okay, man, where's the shit that I'm fucking aggravated about, or the things that allegedly make me who I am, that make my character, but these things, they're actually defects because I'm not moving effectively in life, right? I'm not willing to help people who are not like me. I'm not willing to be of service to other people. I'm not willing to love other people who maybe are on the other side of the aisle. Maybe they voted different. Maybe they are pro-life. Maybe they're pro-choice. Maybe they're pro-gun. You're not willing to love them. Doesn't mean you have to love them, but you have to be willing. If you're not willing to love them, there are other areas of your life where you are failing because you don't have the willingness to be one with other people. Anyway, if we have come to know how wrong thinking and action have hurt us and others, then the need to quit living by ourselves with those tormenting ghosts of yesterday gets more urgent than ever. We have to talk to somebody about them. Now, that inventory process, I've gone through it many other times. You can just Google step 4, AA, big book, columns, whatever you want to Google. If you want to write an inventory, you can see how all of your actions, your attitudes and behaviors are all connected by a string. If you need it broken down into the lowest common denominator, because you are unwilling to be wrong about certain things in your life, somehow you find yourself by yourself, with yourself, by yourself, and that's not a natural way to be. And if that is your natural inclination, how about you can go and find other people and you can help them not to be like that, because isolation is not good for anybody at all. So we have to talk to somebody about them. So intense, though, is our fear and reluctance to do this that many AAs at first tried to bypass step 5. We search for an easier way, which usually consists of general and fairly painless admission that when drinking, we were sometimes bad actors. Then, for good measure, we add dramatic descriptions of that part of our drinking behavior which our friends probably know about anyhow. So we're just like, that's this, the self-deprecating shit that I was talking about. Oh, I'm sorry I did this. I know I'm so bad. And look at how I think about myself. I have such low self-esteem. Please feel sorry for me. Ego. I'm going to continue on. But of the things which really bother and burn us, we say nothing. Certain distressing or humiliating memories we tell ourselves ought not to be shared with anybody. These will remain our secret. Not a soul must ever know. We hope they'll go to the grave with us. Yet, if AA's experience means anything at all, this is not only unwise, but it's actually a perilous resolve. Few muddled attitudes have caused us more trouble than holding back on step 5. Some people are unable to stay sober at all. Others will relapse periodically until they really clean house. Now, this doesn't have to be about alcoholism and relapse and addiction. It can just be about what is holding you back from really being happy. What is it? You need to search who you are, find out who you are, what makes you tick. You need like some kind of like I said, the 4th step is a roadmap, bro. It can break all of that stuff down to a common, to the lowest common denominator. It can separate what your perception of reality is versus what reality is. And once it's down on paper and you start sharing that with somebody else, then you find out really most of us have a disease of perception. And the perception typically, like I talked about with Yariv, cements us as a victim. That's what it does. Even if your perception is that you're better than everybody else, all the way down in the basement there, it says that you feel like somebody's wronged you, so you have to prove to everybody that you're better than them. When you can just be better and shut the fuck up. And be cool and be nice and give. If you're better at some things than other things. But no, you got to let everybody know. The virtue signaling. Let me continue on. Until they clean house. Even AA old-timers sober for years often pay dearly for skimping this step. Now, mind you don't have to do the steps only once. You can continuously do them as you should. They will tell you how they tried to carry the load alone, how much they suffered of irritability, anxiety, remorse, and depression, and how unconsciously seeking relief they would sometimes accuse even their best friends of the very character defects they themselves were trying to conceal. They always discovered that relief never came from confessing the sins of other people. Everybody had to confess his own. This is realshit.com. This practice of admitting one's defects to another person is, of course, very ancient. It has been validated in every century, and it characterizes the lives of all spiritually centered and truly religious people. But today, religion is by no means the sole advocate for this saving principle. Psychiatrists and psychologists point out the deep need every human being has for practical insight and knowledge of his own personality flaws, and for discussion of them with an understanding and a trustworthy person. Somebody who's objective, right? It doesn't say that. This is me. Somebody who's objective who can hold hold the mirror up to you and say, listen, fuck face. You're being a dick right now. And you're making it all about you. And it's not. It's not all. It never is all about you. Even if you're included, it's never all about you. So far as alcoholics are concerned, now back to reading, AA would go even further. Most of us would declare that without fearless admission of our defects to another human being, we could not stay sober. This is what they're saying. This is life and death, right? Because what happens is if you don't end up finding a way to find life not just palatable, but be happy, joyous, and free, not 100% of the time, but have a life that is that, you will eventually pick up that drink and you will pick up that drug. That is a factory system. That's what will happen. A little bit at a time, you got to clear this wreckage. You got to change who you are. They say you got to change. There's one thing you got to change, and that's everything. And the first suggestion you should take in recovery is to take the suggestions. Yep. Okay, It seems plain that the grace of God will not enter to expel our destructive obsessions until we willingly try this. Until we are willing to try this. Yeah. You get that relief. I get it from God. Higher power, group of drunks, whatever. Your friends, that energy that's between you and your people. I'm going to continue on. What we are likely to receive from step 5? ? For one thing, we shall get rid of that terrible sense of isolation we've always had. Almost without exception, alcoholics are tortured by loneliness. Even before our drinking got bad and people began to cut us off, nearly all of us suffered the feeling that we didn't quite belong. Either we were shy and dared not draw attention to ourselves, or we were apt to be noisy good fellows craving attention and companionship but never getting it, at least to our way of thinking. Disease of perception, like I said, it's never enough. Narcissism. Okay. Whew. This is getting deep, man. Okay. There was always that mysterious barrier we could neither surmount nor understand. It was as if we were actors on a stage, suddenly realizing that we did not know a single line of our parts. That one reason we loved alcohol too well. It did let us act extemporaneously, but even, what does that say? Even Bacchus boomeranged on us. All right, the bottle turned on us. Your solution turned on you. Alcohol, drugs, food addictions, control. Control. We talk about sometimes people have been on here that had eating disorders. My homegirl Maria, I love all the way to the moon. That shit, you know what I'm saying? And other people, yeah. That was a means of control, that they were controlling themselves when they were kids. They controlled what they ate. They had eating disorders, and then what happens? That sense of relief that you get from that control, it turned on them. And that's a fucking sad fact that I've seen so many times. So, with the boomeranged on us, we finally struck down and left in terrified loneliness. This is the best thing about AA, is that it's unadulterated truth. When we reached AA, and for the first time in our lives, stood amongst people who seemed to understand, the sense of belonging was tremendously exciting. We finally found where we belong, right? We thought the isolation problem had been solved, but we soon discovered that while we weren't alone anymore in social sense, we still suffered many of these old pangs of anxious apartness. Until we had talked with complete candor of our conflicts and had listened to someone else do the same thing, we still didn't belong. So this is not just me unloading my shit on somebody else. This is also me letting them unload. Step 5 was the answer. It was the beginning of true kinship with man and with God. I'm going to stop reading there. You know, you guys can pick up the 12 steps and 12 traditions and read through that stuff. I'm not your sponsor, but this was a very powerful reading. And this is what I think the problem is. The problem is that anxious apartness. We all think that we're very different, when the truth is we're really like popcorn kernels that they pop. We get all different sizes. Some of them burnt. Some of them got more butter than others. Some of them have more salt than others. Right? But what do we get? We're still all popcorn, man. And I think that's what we need to do. We need to let our guard down a little bit, you know, and have faith that the people that we let our guard down with will not take advantage of that. And just because you let your guard down with somebody and they don't reciprocate right away, it doesn't mean anything more than that they know that it's possible. And maybe they can do that with somebody else. They don't have to do that with you, you know. But I think us as a human people need to fucking do that. You know, there's enough for everybody, bro. There really is. You know, I talk about all the time, you know, we're making these moves, trying to buy some real estate, trying to do other shit, but money is fucking tight. Money is tight. Our money is allocated. It's spoken for, you know, and it's still tight. Sometimes we still got to rob Peter to pay Paul, but that's okay. I don't mind. I still got, you know, little stuff stashed wherever we got it, you know, but we never not give to people within reason, and people that we can. And the people that we do help, they know we help them. And we never mind. And sometimes that help is a little bit less. Sometimes it's a little bit more. A lot of times it's anonymous. And it's the people in our lives. You know, not just like, okay, donations or whatever. And we do that kind of stuff too with our business. And we send money wherever we send it every month. If you're planning on donating, just do it. You know, the best thing you could do is donate your time. But listen, fucking money helps too, man. Money helps too. Periodically when I can, my boy Jason Flat, he has a pit bull rescue, Friends to the Forlorn. I don't know how to spell it. You can Google it, Friends to the Forlorn. It's out in Georgia. Bro, this guy, you know, and he's living with it. And life has not been easy for him. And that's okay, because he can fucking take it. And this guy's a giver. And he takes these pit bulls that are abandoned, pit bulls that are about to get put down, and he has a beautiful setup, and it's all on donation. So please give to that. Aside from wherever else you want to give. That is not associated with some fucking, what do I say? All these, you know, I don't know the names of the places, you know, but the ones that are scams that pretend to be fucking good, you know, whatever. I was going to say sanitation, but it's not sanitation. It's not sanitarium either, but you guys know which ones I'm talking about. You know, the ones that are attached to the places of worship. You don't need to give your money there. You can just give it anywhere. You can just go to one of the guys standing outside of Home Depot, and if you have an extra $100, give it to one guy and just walk off. You know, or whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Or just give your time, give your ear, give your heart. That's what you need to do. You got to give your heart, man. That's the fucking thing. And sometimes you got to give your heart from far away. And sometimes you got to let people find out who they are on their own time. And when they're ready, prepare yourself to be there for them. And so that way they're not alone. And you don't have to sit there with the I told you so's. Even if you told them, they fucking know you told them. Because you told them. And there's a difference between telling somebody and sharing something with somebody. You know? And it doesn't have to be your family. The best part about the programs that I'm in is that we're not blood related, but they are my family, bro. I fucking promise. And I'm very close with my blood family in all these different ways. And I bring this kind of openness to everybody. And not all of them, you know, whatever, bro. They're fucking Puerto Rican. You know what I'm saying? If you're going to therapy, something's wrong with you. But we're changing that. My generation, even though they're on a lower level than me, as far as the caste system, because we still have that, they're changing that. You know? But also, you know, you don't got to hide out in therapy and shit too, man. You can get out there and you can win. And you can do something. You can be a productive member of society. There are people who have, well, all those things that I mentioned, ADHD, BPD, anxiety, bipolar, whatever, and they are happy and they are successful. Successful means that they are able to function in society and they are fucking happy and not under the thumb of somebody else or under the thumb of their sickness. Because they're not. They're just like us. They're just like, you know, that popcorn looks a little, you know, it's a little bit different. But we're all in the same fucking bowl. And that's important. Anyway, you guys, don't forget, subscribe. Please, what do they call it? Rate? Like, you know, when you do like 5 stars. If it's 5 stars, I'll take it. If it's 4, keep it in your pocket. Or give me 5. Come on. That'll be your donation for the month. 5 stars, Apple, Spotify, Google, whatever. Share the episodes with your friends, with your family. Send it around, bro. You know? That's the thing. It's like, you know, and we have a few thousand fucking downloads. Like, I mean, there are people who are listening, and I'm grateful for that. And maybe I should do more marketing. I don't fucking know. Oh, look at that. NYC pawn shop owner indicted in massive fencing scheme. Psh, hello? You don't know, bro? You don't know? Where is that? It's over there. It's got to be in the city. It looks like Manhattan. Yeah, man. Everybody's trying to get it, you know? They're trying to get it however they're trying to get it. Let me see. Where are we? Let's see. Okay, stats. Live stats. All time. Where are we at? Oh, man. We just passed 2,500. Not bad. So, we're going to keep the interviews coming. Subscribe, Apple, Spotify, Pandora, Google, all the places where you can find us. Facebook is going to turn us off, bro. And then I'm just going to keep sharing the RSS feed so you guys can listen to the episodes. And that's fucking cool. Please feel free to email us, thespiritualexperience79@gmail.com. And we'll see you guys around campus. Peace. Okay, everybody, we'd like to thank you for joining us on The Spiritual Experience. Please don't forget to like and subscribe on all podcast platforms, Spotify, Apple, Google, Pandora, everywhere. And please find us on Facebook where you can become part of our family. We'll see you around.